Great. Hi, my name is Tim Thomas. I'm the CIO of Local Motors. And if you've heard of Local Motors, you probably think we're a car company because we've been getting some press. And the truth is that partially we are a car company, but we're really a vehicle innovation company. That's not working so well. There we go. We collaborate with external partners to enable the creation of game-changing vehicles. Wired said, Local Motors is a portal to the future of American manufacturing. And what do they mean by that? So when we went to design our first car, we had 10 people. But we actually had access to a community of people, designers, engineers, makers, and enthusiasts who made up a much greater crowd, which we leveraged as a result of as part of our community. So right now we have 30,000 in our current community that are active in our website, and with social media we have access to over 50,000 people where we can get feedback and ideas. The market is huge. There are a lot of fans of automotive. There are a lot of makers out there. I think someone touched on what a maker is. A lot of people who have really good ideas and can tinker with things and use some of the tools that are out there right now, but they're not officially car engineers, and they're not officially car designers, transportation designers, but they have some great ideas as well. So as a result, our first car, we were able to build 5 times faster and with 100 times less capital than many traditional auto manufacturers. And here's the proof. I love working here. This is the Rally Fighter, and it's an off-road rally race vehicle that's street legal. And at this point, we have over 50 of them on the road. There's actually one in Boston here. This is our microfactory. This is where they're built. This is in Chandler, Arizona. And this is the first of, actually it's the second. The first was in Massachusetts, but we moved out to Chandler because this is the sweet spot for this vehicle. But you should expect to see more microfactories and lots of other niche market vehicles cropping up. So the way that we did this was we built something called The Forge. It's a online co-creation platform. And it's where we turn the ideas into reality. We tap the community, and together we turn ideas into reality. Originally, we set out to become a car company. We wanted to tap this community so that we could get great designs and build our own vehicles. A year and a half ago, we realized through many partner collaborations that it's not just about us. What we're building is something that everybody can use. And so we've got some partners that have actually used our new Forge. They do sponsored competitions, and you'll see those in a few minutes. But we also turned it over to everybody. Everyone in the community now has the ability to go and create a project and get people to join in and help build their own inventions. So at one point earlier in the day, I had said that in terms of collaborating or in terms of building trust, you need to be face-to-face. And that was with my own internal team. It's sort of counter to what I'm saying here because we've got a virtual community. You can build trust very easily and very well in a virtual community. It just comes in a different way. But we also see the value in face-to-face meetings, and so we try not to be just a virtual community. We have open houses once a month where we invite the community to come in, and we also have projects that we're working on that are not our own, that we're actually lending some of our time to, where the community comes in and is actually building a vehicle. One's called the Tandem right now. So our community comes together to create, develop, build, and modify vehicles. We're also an open source hardware company. So the CAD that went into the Rally Fighter is fully available on the internet. Anyone can download it, and they do. They do a lot. It's our hope that they will modify the CAD and submit it back, and in that open source nature, become part of the product evolution. We also publish the parts list for the Rally Fighter on the internet, so people have access to that. And there's also a build manual, step-by-step, that we publish on the internet. So technically, and people have actually started doing this, you could go and get the CAD, and get the build instructions and get the parts list and build a rally fighter yourself. But it's our intent that people will actually take these build instructions after they've built their own vehicle, make modifications, and then come in and update the wiki themselves with their own modification. So when you buy a rally fighter, you're not actually just buying a car, you're buying an entire build experience. People come to the microfactory and they build the car themselves with that build wiki, with that parts list, in kind of an IKEA fashion where we give you day by day the parts that you need and the tools that you need right there. And there's an engineer that works with you. You actually don't build the whole thing. You build a few days up front and then a few days in the end, but you really build a good portion of the vehicle. So in that sense, it's kind of like Disneyland for someone who wants a cool car. So here they are in the factory building as well. So the Rally Fighter is the world's first open source production vehicle. But we're also partnering with other companies like Domino's, was mentioned earlier. Domino's is building on our Forge a ultimate delivery vehicle. It's the world's first co-created fleet delivery vehicle. We also worked with Peterbilt and designed the Rig 2. We worked with Shell to come up with the first co-created local energy solutions. It was a series of 5 competitions for what vehicles would work in what geographic locations and what energy sources would be best for those vehicles. The first co-created electric bicycle, the Bitwin Velmobile. And DARPA as well was mentioned before. DARPA came to us and said, we want to prove the concept of co-creation as a way of getting vehicles onto the battlefield, onto specific battlefields under specific conditions as quickly and inexpensively as possible. So they gave us a task. We had to do that in 5 months. We started with some framework that we built the Rally Fighter on, but we delivered that on time and on budget. And here's our CEO delivering it to President Obama. But what's really important here, which isn't in the picture, is that the designer that designed this went along with him and got to meet President Obama as well. I know I'm glazing over a lot of things here, but this is really important because we give a lot of credit back to the people that are contributing in our community. And one of the things that's really important is how do you get people to engage? And you've got to motivate them. Is money a good motivator? Well, not so much, really. I mean, it is if you're a professional and you go to work and that's what you do. But the people that are on here because they're passionate about it. And because the stuff that they do, they get to share with their peers, and their peers get to comment on it, and they get feedback, and they get cred. And cred is really important. This is the Edison 2. They won the X Prize, which is, I think it was a challenge where they had to design a vehicle that gets 100 miles to the gallon, could go 200 miles on range, went 0 to 60 in less than 15 seconds, and they had to meet some other crash criteria and fuel economy criteria and so on. And they won the X Prize, and they got $5 million and went into production. And they ran out of money, so they didn't have a door handle. So they came to Local Motors, and collectively with our community, we engineered a door handle very inexpensively that was a really good design for their vehicle. So the most recent thing that we've done is DP Customs is a custom motorcycle company. We worked with them to develop a Local Motors Edition motorcycle, which is now sold in our new Local Motors shop. So there's a full cycle here. The people come and they participate in developing, and then they can take these products and move them into the shop and make money on them. And there's a compensation structure that we're going to build in so that the people that created ideas and made suggestions for how to evolve the design, they could all get some compensation as well in this. So this is a new process for our customers. Domino's didn't know how to do that, although they're very progressive, and Peterbilt didn't know how to do this. So they needed to know what the value proposition was of co-creation. So we helped them to structure and manage projects in our environment, on our platform. We help them to promote their project and motivate and engage the community. And we teach them how to steer the project towards their goal. So there's definitely value that we add to this entire process. So why does co-creating with a community make the process faster and cheaper? Well, Bill Joy, co-founder of Sun Microsystems, said, no matter who you are, most of the smartest people work for someone else. And he wasn't saying that we hire stupid people. It was more along the lines of what Linus's law says, with enough eyeballs, all bugs are shallow. So knowledge is unevenly distributed in society. And I probably won't go into too much because we've covered a lot of this, I think, already. And if Eric von Hippel is still here, I hope I get this quote correctly, but knowledge is sticky. And so what we're doing is we're tapping into a vast community of knowledge as opposed to a couple of individuals that have knowledge. And then that community is exchanging knowledge as well. So knowledge is evolving. And this is our community. We have 140 countries represented in our community today. So this is another car company's crowd. And just for example, if you take a look at this room, they've got a few designers, a few engineers. They're pretty much siloed. And this is the reason that Local Motors is able to get so many ideas and move so quickly for such little money, which is what this slide says right here. So basically, I was going to walk over there, but I guess I'm not supposed to move away from the microphone here. So I'll go through this pretty quickly. The green bar on the first slide there is the announcement of a model unveiling of a vehicle. And we took a look at General Motors' Chevy Volt, Fisker Automotive's Karma, and Tesla's Roadster. The second is the model unveiling to the first customer delivery. And the third is the first to the 25th customer delivery. And as you can see, if you go around the circle, it's supposed to look like a dial on your dashboard here. Local Motors did everything a lot faster. As a matter of fact, we actually got our first car in the hands of customers before the other ones, two of the other ones had even unveiled their model. And in terms of cost, this is just very clear, very easy to see. We took less than $2 million to design the Rally Fighter, whereas the other ones are in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And the reason is that we have access to this vast community that we call our development team. So how do you innovate with a community? Well, you need leadership, organization, respect, and engagement. So in terms of leadership, you need to craft a vision. Are we making a common car? Or are we making something iconic? Or are we doing a fleet of vehicles for some rental car companies? You have to know what it is that you're really trying to do. And you have to, I think that came up earlier in what Amy was saying. Are we going to take on electric? Well, if you're going to take on electric, do you really understand electric? Do you understand the infrastructure? What goes into it? What the limitations are? The third is organization. Managing the items that our community cannot or will not do for themselves. So there's definitely some level of rallying, project management, and so on. Certainly with our customers, our sponsored competitions, we need to handhold them to really show them how this works and help them along. Respect, and we talked about that when I had the slide of the president. For people, make sure that people are properly recognized for their efforts. Certainly meeting the president is proper recognition. Our other designer, Sung-Ho Kim, who designed the Rally Fighter, has his name on the vehicle. So recognition is a very powerful compensation. But you don't have to just recognize people in those ways. You can recognize people in small ways, and it's very meaningful. If people contribute their designs and their peers are commenting on that, that's recognition. If you give them a place where they can upload their designs and those designs are showcased, that's recognition. Even just commenting on someone else's comment is recognition. They feel it, and it really re-engages them. So engagement is the fourth, and this is the new currency. You must be present and celebrate achievement and failure equally. So fail early, fail often. And when people fail, don't consider that a failure. It's a part of the process. So motivate them. They'll come back and they'll try again, and the whole process will get better. So what does co-creation look like? Well, I just put a couple of slides. This certainly is not the limit, but our projects are constructed to allow people to come in and collaborate through commenting, through voting, through uploading CAD as suggestions or replacements as imagery so that you can actually point out other vehicles that have a feature that you're trying to talk about, or you may actually take their design, modify it, and post it right back up there. Projects are also potentially a lot more sophisticated. So you can assign tasks to different people, and people can complete those tasks, and therefore you actually have the platform for being able to do a sophisticated project. And challenges in terms of gathering options. I know someone said, what if you don't want 50,000 ideas to sort through? Well, DP Customs in this last competition got over 195 submissions, and most of them were really good. A few of them were amazing, and so they were able to select the very best one. And because they had all these options, they didn't even need to do anything to it. This is what they're building. But you can also use this as a starting point. This process can be used for getting an idea, sort of the genesis of what you're going to build, as opposed to, okay, wow, that's what we're building right there. So, that's all I have.